commentating on it, we had a very big crash at the start, and it involved Jeffrey Rietveld. Hopefully we don't have that again.
You a bad omen, you and
Maybe.
Incredible. Well, folks, it won't be long, and already the car's now out on track. Chinchik to lead them through. Safety car will very shortly be coming in. 2 red line cars sit line astern. Second and third, not necessarily line astern out on track. They are right now, but in a formality sense, Rietveld will be on the front row. But Ewan, it's Chinchik v Rietveld. It's turn 1, but will Siggy become a threat?
The Drivers' Championship finalist and winner, of course, Kevin Siggy, crowned his title around this circuit. Can he go from third to first here in race 3 as we get another round of the Teams' Championship final underway? It's side by side into turn 1 with Dane Warren round the outside into third immediately. He might even look at second place into turn 2 as well, but not quite. Here goes Christopher Dambeats defending himself in towards turn 2 as his teammate Moritz Lerner dives down the inside of a couple of cars in towards that first braking zone.
Yep, definitely a golf clap for Sonia there. Obviously watching her Sunday Warren move up to the third here in the standings. So Porsche Coanda now with yet another car featuring in the top 3 for the first time since Joshua Rogers did it back in Jeddah. But we have more movement further up as Warren once again looks to go onto the attack, trying to topple Jeffrey Rietveld. Rietveld denies it though. We're watching Yuri Toman under pressure with Marko Pejic in behind, who's had to filter right back behind the fellow Audi R8 LMS. And furthermore, Moritz Lerner on the tail of Dennis Schrödinger. Credit to Dennis Schrödinger, he's up to 9th. Remember, not a great lap earlier on, but look at this now from Dane Warren, trying to plough after Jeffrey Rietveld in a battle over second place.
And he's through, Dane Warren through round the outside at the 9th and 10th corners of the racetrack. He is into second position ahead of Jeffrey Rietveld and Kevin Siggy. So this is going to be an interesting battle for second place now, because the slowest car in a straight line is at the head of the train.
Yeah, no, this isn't ideal for Redline whatsoever. If they want to get this one and done, obviously they need these big results. Of course, they still have the advantage in terms of where they started. Remember, 100 points going their way in the commencement of this final day. But we can't forget, of course, Team Vitality, who sit at the top of the tree with Marcel Chinchik. They were on 72 coming into this, and as soon as Vitality start winning races, this will bring that points gap lower.
That was a big wiggle for Dane Warren. He needed to stay away from Jeffrey Rietveld there on the way towards the Parabolica, because he's going to get gobbled up otherwise. Here is the traction for the BMW. It's so strong out of there. The torque just drives it out of these corners and might drive Jeffrey Rietveld into second position, with the help of Kevin Siggy as well right behind him, bumping him all the way. Here they go into the hairpin. Dane Warren defends on the inside line. Jeffrey Rietveld decides to stay behind.
Yeah, Dane Warren there just positioning the car to the inside, trying to fend off the approaches from Jeffrey Rietveld. The Rietveld wasn't necessarily too desperate to make that move, knows that he can't afford to make any uncalculated mistakes. He needs to make calculated, successful maneuvers in order to progress with Team Redline up the order, essentially top in the group, getting into finalist mode as soon as they hit that 230 points barrier, and then winning the following race in order to clinch the team's title. That's exactly what Redline wants to do, and that's exactly what the rest of the teams in this final event need to do as well, should they want to lift the big trophy aloft. Into the final sector they go, the arena section, lap 3 to begin very shortly.
They might have to, or we might have to have a look at a replay, because I've just noticed Moritz Lerner's now last by quite a few seconds, and he was currently, or previously I should say, not very far at all behind Christopher Dambeats, who is in the top 5 for Maus. So not sure really what went on there, but we'll get another look at that. Actually, the hairpin on lap 1 was actually quite calm. I wonder whether on lap 2 there was something a bit more sinister.
Yeah, just a little bit top heavy there. Just watching Kevin Siggy come through, a little twist at the front end of the BMW, but he seems okay. Just settling himself in. The bumps on his forehead seemingly somewhat lessened. Oh, obviously not ideal. If those of you remember had tuned in to our Drivers' Championship phase, of course he went on to win the crown, but sustained some injuries along the way, including some blood on his forehead after hitting his head against the steering wheel. It didn't look like a hard impact from what I saw. Obviously some footage did make its way onto the phones, as now we see once more Jeffrey Rietveld on the back of Dane Warren down the inside at Spitz Curve at the hairpin, and it looks like Rietveld might have enough of the BMW out in front, but they've still got the run down towards Mercedes. Rietveld though has the car in second.
And don't forget, Dane Warren got through the first time round out by going down the inside at turn 8. This time it's the outside line. He breaks all the way round the outside. This could be phenomenal. Here he goes inside at 9 and 10 now. Here comes Kevin Siggy. He'll be going through on the outside, will he? Warren's not going to let him on the outside. He'll have to go to the inside, the driver's champion, into the final sector, side by side. Will Warren hang on? Yes, for now. He'll have the inside for turn 12.
Yeah, turn 12 at Sachs corner. That will open the door. Oh, goodness me. Kevin Siggy managed to pounce on him. Immediately there was some contact further back. I think Dambits might have come into it. But Dane Warren now at the mercy of Team Redline once again. Rietveld has coasted on by nearly a second. But look at this, coming round the final bend. Warren doing enough. But look at Dambits up the inside. He reneges, falls back in line.
He just lifted off there. I think he should have gone for that, to be honest. But he decides to play the long game and wait. Look at the run for Kevin Siggy. There's no love lost between Coanda and Redline these days. They'll battle again in their long and historic rivalry here in sim racing. Two of the very best going toe-to-toe at the Esports World Cup, side by side out of turns 2, 3 and 4. And now on the run up towards the hairpin, it's going to be Christopher Dambits, surely, who's going to have the double slipstream and the inside line. He's going to have to go for the middle. He can't get the inside. He can't go through the middle. He can't go anywhere. Here he goes on the outside line. Yuri Toman as well, as the 6 of them battle side by side off the corner.
Yuri Toman was in stealth mode. He came in quietly to join these 3 who are fighting over this podium place. Siggy still keeping Warren now behind him, but now coming into Mercedes, it's going to get very tough once more for both cars, with Dambits applying the pressure. Toman once again coming in as they now come into the final sector very shortly, and Toman for Team Vitality moves up to P5.
He's got the place, Toman, finally, but what a battle this is. The battle for third place is surely going to be the best position any of these guys can achieve now, because Marcel Chintik is away and home and dry, surely, and Jeffrey Rietveld in second place surely is going to finish there too, with 2 seconds either side of him. So really this battle is for third, and for now Kevin Siggy holds the place.
Yeah, Redline very strong at this point. They may not have the lead. Chinchik is checked out. He's gone. Chinchik is on his way to becoming a race winner for Team Vitality. It'd be Team Vitality's first victory, and not only that, their first podium in this finals phase here at this point. And it's, I tell you what, a worthwhile one as well. They could be on for even more points with the way that Yuri Toman's performing right now. Of course, he's had challenges in his own right. The results haven't been stellar for young Yuri Toman. Of course, all the way from the Czech Republic, and very much part of this Team Vitality lineup, and has been for quite some time, obviously even prior to when it was known as RHE. Competed with them last season here in ESL R1 as they now head down once more to the next right-hander at the hairpin. The heavy braking zone once again on show as we see Dane Warren with Yuri Toman in behind. Dambit still settled in 6th. Payich also coming in now, so a lot of the back runners now started to join this midfield fight, and then by extension the podium fight as well. But Siggy has 4/10 to his favour. Dane Warren though has done quite well in re-closing that gap back up.
Speaking of Dane Warren, we've got a penalty for him, I'm afraid, and 2 points taken away from Porsche Coanda Esports.
They don't need that.
Yeah, exactly. Overtaking off the track at turn 1 from Dane Warren. That was on, was it Rietveld or Siggy? It was one of the red lines anyway. It was Siggy at the start of the race. That's how we got up to 3rd place initially. As you can see, those positions have reversed, and so the top 4 are exactly where they started now, albeit after a lot of action, I think it's fair to say, throughout this race so far. I think we're about to complete the first half of race 3 now. Marcel Chintik home and dry, as I say, although he still has to complete the final 5 laps, of course. And Vitality certainly moving ahead in the fight for 2nd place. Porsche Coanda at the moment only scoring 15 points, Vitality scoring 35.
Yeah, be careful not to curse poor Marcel Chinchik there, Euron O'Leary. He has got, yeah, well, you never know. I mean, he is still on top by a good, comfortable margin, 2.6. He has broken the slipstream, so it does make Jeffrey Rietveld's job a little bit more difficult should he want to win. This is such a big result for Rietveld as well. He's also had his struggles, did not manage to make it through from the second chance phase in the Drivers' Championship after an incident at Monza, but now back here in the team's phase. This is exactly what Redline have in their locker. Their ability to go from one driver pairing to the other, but still hold some of the strongest pairings, the more consistent pairings in this team's championship, and that's exactly what's going to take them to the title should they lift it aloft here today. But then again, we have seen surprises already. As once again, we keep our eyes peeled as we run on board with Yuri Toman, still hunting down after Dane Warren. still sat in 4th, 5.2 off the top, but by and large at the moment 8/10 away from the back of Kevin Siggy.
Yeah, and that gap only growing now. I think the podium places may even be settled now, but Team Vitality trying to make sure that that's not the case, and Yuri Toman trying to gain some positions here. He's got to get past Dane Warren first, although the gap in front is extending. There is Jeffrey Rietveld, you mentioning the only red line driver not to make it through into the Drivers' Championship final. Not that they really needed him. They finished 3 out of the top 4 anyway. But
well, 2 out of the 3 that were in finalist mode were red line drivers anyway.
As well, yeah, true. And Luke Bennett was the best placed of those non-finalist mode drivers. So,
yep.
Yeah, it was a very successful afternoon for them indeed. They're looking for another bit of success here as well. $140,000 on the line for the winner of this team's championship. And at the moment, Team Redline in the ideal position to seal that here today. They're best positioned. They pick up the most points of anybody if the race were to end right now by just 1 point ahead of Vitality. That just shows their dominance as they home in on finalist mode, possibly in the race after this.
Yeah. Still at the head of the field, though, Marcel Cincic, the Hungarian. We take a look at Kevin Siggy on the right-hand side from Maribor in Slovenia. And a driver's champion for the first time in ESL R1. Crown that would have meant a great deal to him. This time last year, he was on our screens for very different reasons. He was, of course, furious with some of the issues that Team Redline had sustained on the lead-up through to the Gamers 8 title, which would be, in the end, won by Max Benneker and Mouse, which would be Benneker's first ever championship. And, of course, we alluded to Benneker being a former Team Redline driver in his own right, but Kevin Siggy managing to exercise his raw ability and talent across many disciplines, whether it comes to single-seater racing in sim racing, or whether it comes down to even this, you know, GT3 Grand Tourers, you know, he has that ability. Dane Warren, we allude to his frequent down at the karting track in Geelong, obviously making, well, certainly setting in place the wheels in motion on a brilliant sim racing career since joining the Porsche Coanda lineup. Joining the likes of Mitchell de Jong, his teammate, who currently sits down in 10th place. Mitchell de Jong, incidentally, talking about real-life sim racing careers, he harbours quite an exquisite CV in his own right. Has done racing in karts, has done off-road, as well as truck racing as well, believe it or not. So he has really done it all, and all the way from California in the USA. So representing from all the way stateside, Arjuna, obviously part of our broadcast team, also from the United States of America.
He lives in California these days as well, although I'm willing to bet they don't live anywhere near each other.
No, probably not. It's quite
huge.
A vast state, I think.
It's rather large, so I bet they don't live very near each other. But yeah, Mr. de Jong is one of the most versatile sim racing drivers I've ever seen, to be honest. He's top 3'd in so many different disciplines in iRacing World Championship competition, which is hard enough to even get into a season of. He's done so many seasons of on oval side of things, in rallycross on the road as well. He can do literally everything at the moment in 10th place, though. And we're starting to see now the traditional Hockenheim race, actually. The first half was very exciting indeed. This is more like what you see, very few battles, because it's probably the hardest circuit to overtake on of the ones we've got here.
Yeah, very tricky. I mean, generally your opportunities are going to come in the heavy braking zone, and obviously if you can get the run heading out to Parabolica, it's a slipstream fest pretty much around there. We have, of course, seen the you know, how effective the slipstream is. We've seen it at Jeddah. Of course, we've seen it at Spa, time on time, heading up through Kemmel. As we now watch them head through turn 1 once more. Cincic 2.5 clear of Jeffrey Rietveld in second. Kevin Siggy, who is also 1.5 seconds, I would say, in behind his teammate Rietveld right now. Dane Warren, who has very much lost touch, 1.2 behind Siggy right now, as we watch Yuri Toman on right of our screens, trying to close up on that 5/10 gap between he and Dane Warren to at least try and bring Vitality even more points, because anything on top of Cincic's victory would be a bonus.
Just 16 points would be required in the next race, by the way, for Team Redline to get into finalist mode, if indeed that's what's going to happen, because they are getting very, very close indeed now, although they do need that extra race win, of course, once they're in finalist mode to take the title itself. 16 points, by the way, would constitute a 5th and a 6th place finish, or a different combination. Second and last, there's lots of combinations, so I won't go through them all, but you get the picture. That's the kind of thing we're looking at as we have a look at Marcel Cincic for the first time in a while. it's a good start for Team Vitality to have him on song. I feel like when he was, not on song on Friday, they were not very good, and then when he was, they were as well. He, of course, had trouble in that first race. They had trouble getting caught up in the opening pile-up at Jeddah, of course, which put them in danger right at the bottom of the standings after the opening round of races. In the second round, though, they were able to put in 4 good results and get into this Teams Championship final the easy way by doing it on Friday.
Yeah, listen to that Audi R8 LMS. I must say, watching Chinchik cross the line, beginning of the final lap here at Hockenheim. Coming down through towards turns 2 and 3 and 4 by extension before they run around the Parabolica. And further back, there is Dane Warren. Yuri Toman still in pursuit. Christopher Dambit's not having a bad race either. Mouse scoring some points, but like we said, they need another driver to fly the flag aside from Max Benneker. Moritz Lerner currently stationed at the very tail end of the field. It hasn't been a great day for him, one iota. Matt Emery just sat in front of him, and they're quite a ways disconnected off the rest of the field. Otherwise than that, you've got Pajic, Pajtor, Schrodinger in close proximity. They're trying to chase after Christopher Dambit, as now we watch Warren heading out of Spitz Curve. Still Toman in tow, in behind the Porsche Commander driver as they burst down through towards Mercedes, but Chinchik in control is checked out 2.8 now to the good, and that gap has only shown signs of growing. It's now broken to nearly over 3 seconds now as he starts threatening even more so, and his lap times have been stellar. Kevin Siggy still with the fastest lap as they now head around, but we've got a little bit of tussling further back here, Ewan.
I think the 2 Williams cars went side by side and may have sabotaged themselves here, because Mitchell de Jong's now on the outside of Daniel Pastor, but it doesn't look like that will change too much. Marcel Chinchik looks like he's going to come through to take another win. Somewhat unbelievably, before this week, he hadn't taken a win in 2024. Well, now he's just doubled his tally for the year. Marcel Chinchik wins at the Hockenheim ring to add to his Monza victory of before, and he gets Team Vitality into a more secure second position in this Teams Championship final.
Yeah, huge result for Team Vitality, their first win of this championship final phase. Now, can they push on from here? Yuri Toman finishing as strong as he did obviously helps, but Redline still